Hi guys, and welcome to this video on the new moon in Taurus that happens on the 11th of May 2021 at 7:59 in the evening, and that's based on Europe time. Thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm going to give you a rundown of what this new moon is about, what energy is going to bring up, and how you can use it to your advantage. My horoscopes are for all signs of the zodiac. They're for everyone who watches. So I'm going to have a look at this chart and see how the planets interact with one another and how you can make the most of this. So a new moon, just on a basic level, happens every month pretty much, and it's when the sun and the moon, they conjunct, so they meet, they sit together. The moon goes pitch black and it takes a time out. It's like, I'm going within, I'm taking a bit of a break, and I'm recharging my batteries. And that's why the new moon is really a great time to plant seeds of intention and to say, what am I going to do in the next coming 28-day period? What am I going to look forward to? And with this being in Taurus, what is it that I want to manifest? What do I want to do about my actual real life circumstances, and how can I tweak them and make them work for me? So the sun and the moon are sitting together at 21 degrees in Taurus. So the moon is pulling in this earthy energy at 21 degrees. 2 and 1 is 3. 3 is communication, new beginnings, and Taurus, the second sign of the zodiac, is ruled by Venus, the planet of beauty, love, creativity, and really taking the loving, positive energy that you've got happening internally and expressing it in some beautiful way that other people can engage with. So that can be in your work as a, cosmetician, if that's a word, someone who does cosmetics, or a hairdresser, or a painter, an artist, someone who is who works in horticulture, landscape design, anything that gives you the ability to beautify your surroundings. You guys, if you're working in that kind of practical field, you're going to find that this new moon in Taurus really assists you and helps you do your best work. So if you are a creative type or someone who helps other people to feel more beautiful, then really use this period in May to get busy and to work, because you're going to find that the results are just amazing. So usually if it takes you an hour and that's the best job you can do and you're really pleased with it, you may find that in that same hour you suddenly create a masterpiece that you weren't expecting and you're really pleased with it. So you can learn through action. By being creative and by expressing yourself, you can find that you had hidden talents that you were never even aware of. So it's important to act your way into doing something creative, or to take practical action and to actually get busy, rather than just thinking and brainstorming and saying, what could I paint? Actually start painting, and you'll experience yourself learning on the job and discovering inspiration and insight while you're busy doing it already. With this being a new moon, please do plant seeds of intention in particular areas. So if you're someone who works with crystals, or agriculture, or anything that has a real life tangible presence, like a nutritionist, it gives you a thousand different options. Anything that has a body, that has a physical presence on Earth, that isn't abstract. Think about how you can change that if you want to make changes. So that can be the inside of your house, or if you do own land, what you want to do with the acres and acres that are just being left at the moment. Ask yourself, how can I get creative and busy with that to really bring out the most in it? That's really going to serve you, and you'll come up with great ideas. If you're working with money in itself, like the stock market, then look at what your plans are for investing and your savings and your bank account. This new moon is also going to give you great ideas and inspirations in terms of what you want to achieve in that area. And then finally, like I said, all the creative side of things, all the arts, all the if you're a singer, if you're someone who expresses yourself, really look at writing new music, or what you want to do in the next 4 weeks, because you'll really be inspired and you'll really be able to jot down a lot of things that you can then work on in the month of May and going into June. So we've got this new moon sitting there then at 21 degrees. So anything that has the potential to start fresh, or that allows you to express your ideas and your opinions, that should be your top priority, and that's where you can make the most inroads, and that's where you can make the most progress. And that is kind of highlighted because we've got Black Moon Lilith sitting at 22 degrees in Taurus. And Black Moon Lilith in the chart is the part of your horoscope where the ego really tries to dig the knife in and say, you can't do this because. Usually it uses fear or some sort of a feeling of dread that things are going to go wrong to prevent you from doing things and to hold you back so that you can't maximize your potential and that you can't do well. And the fact that this Black Moon Lilith is at 22 degrees in Taurus, so 1 degree away from the new moon, is really interesting because it's really threatened. And when the ego is threatened, you know you're on the right track. So Black Moon Lilith here says, listen, don't paint and don't think about what you're going to do with your backyard because you'll get it wrong anyway. Just kind of try and listen to other people. Don't take charge of your life and just dig your head into the sand. You'll embarrass yourself. It's not going to work out the way you want it to. And your ego is really laying it on thick in the sense that it's trying to convince you that you don't have control over your physical circumstances. Now, reading between the lines here, that means that you absolutely do have control and that you should get creative and you should express yourself. And if you find that you're afraid or a lot of self-doubt comes up during this new moon, that's actually a green light that says you're on the right track here, keep going. There's a really great book on this. I always recommend this because I love it. It's a book that was written by Susan Jeffers in the 80s. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And that's what's coming up here. If you feel the fear, yes, you should do it anyway, but it's also a confirmation that you're on the right track. So really use the ego against itself here because it's overkill. It's giving you too much fear and doubt, which makes it easy to recognize. Usually the ego is a little bit more subtle and it just gives you this slight feeling of discomfort, which makes it hard to recognize. In this case, it's not hard to recognize. If it makes you nervous and you're like, oh, this is going to go wrong, you know you should go ahead with it. Okay, we've got Venus sitting nearby. That's, well, it's no longer conjunct technically because it's no longer in Taurus and it's not within 10 degrees of the new moon, but it's nearby. So let's see, it's 9 and 3, it's 12 degrees away from the new moon in Taurus at 3 degrees in Gemini. Venus is the planet of love and beauty that rules Taurus. It's also at 3 degrees. Remember, this new moon in Taurus is at 21 degrees, 2 and 1 is 3. So it's really aligned and it's at the same vibration, which is just begin, start new things, give birth to new ideas, to your ideas, do something with them, really get busy. And it's in Gemini, the sign that's all about new beginnings. If you look at Gemini, the glyph of it is a Roman numeral 2. You can see it as 2 pillars creating a doorway. So Venus is saying your love is over there, go and get it, or express it. Every door is opening up for you, all you need to do is walk through them. So it's like if an opportunity comes along, say yes. You don't know what's going to happen. Make sure that you have a can-do attitude, because if you move ahead, similar to the new moon in Taurus, if you actually get busy and you start doing things, you'll notice that other doors are opening up and are bringing in even more opportunity and chances for success. So really make sure you seize every opportunity that you can. On the other side of the new moon, we've got Uranus in Taurus at 11 degrees. And that still counts as a conjunction because it's exactly 10 degrees away from the new moon. Uranus is the miraculous, the unexpected, it's chaos, it's what you could have never thought happening. That wasn't English. It represents what you could have never predicted. Suddenly this amazing, miraculous thing is there. It's something that's beyond your wildest dreams. And in Taurus, it appears in some sort of tangible format. So something wonderful manifests. Something that you've wanted just suddenly appears in a real world sense, and it seems almost too good to be true. And if it does seem almost too good to be true, don't doubt it. Don't say, oh, when things seem too great, usually they aren't. On this day, it's really likely that one of your hopes and dreams appears and is handed to you. So believe it, seize that opportunity and see where it leads you. It's going to take you to a happy place. And the reason I say that is it's at 11 degrees. 11 is the master number of service. So it's kind of the universe helping you out a little bit and presenting something to you on a silver platter free of charge. And if you accept it, you can be of service to yourself. By accepting opportunities that come along, you're doing yourself a favor. And you're giving yourself a real chance to succeed and to thrive. That's great. Okay, we've got the North Node at 11 degrees in Gemini. 8 degrees away from Venus. I'm jumping back and forth over the new moon here. I'm sitting there with Venus and Mercury now. So the North Node is what you're moving towards. 11 again is service to yourself and other people in Gemini by expressing yourself and by seizing new opportunities. If you look at the glyph of Gemini now with the 11, it looks like 1111. And in the tarot, that's the Four of Wands. That's the happiest card as far as I'm concerned, because it's a new beginning, it's a celebration, and it's the promise of a fabulous life. Happily ever after, a new future that's going to really serve you. So that's what you're moving towards on a spiritual level. So really trust that something good is going to come out of this day. And the new moon isn't just going to be there on the 11th of May. Look at it from the 10th, 11th and 12th of May. Any opportunities that come along, really take them very seriously. Then we've got Mercury sitting on top of the North Node. Mercury is at 12 degrees, so we've got another 3, 1 and 2 is 3, in Gemini. So Mercury is the communication planet. 3 is new beginnings, communication, expressing yourself. And Gemini is ruled by Mercury. It's Hermes in mythology. It's the messenger of the gods. So it's really, if I have an idea and I express it, it's really going to go a long way. It's going to make a big impact. So Mercury is really encouraging you to speak up and to say, don't be afraid to share your ideas. They're really going to work in your favor. Hooray! Love it. Okay, what else have we got? Okay, so now the new moon forms certain aspect patterns with other things in the chart. First of all, do you see this big blue triangle? That's really important. That's called a grand trine, and that's a real area of talent. So this new moon in Taurus forms a trine with the midheaven in Virgo, and then another trine with Pluto in Capricorn, and then back to the new moon in Taurus, creating this big blue grand trine. So it's a major talent when it comes to the element of earth. And earth is about creativity, practical circumstances, money, physical healing, your body. And that's where your talents lie. So if there's anything in any of those areas you want to change, really be brave and make those changes. They're going to serve you. The midheaven in Virgo at 20 degrees, usually the midheaven in your birth chart or in the horoscope is about your talent when it comes to work. And a Virgo midheaven gives you the ability to really be analytical and to be an expert and to be of service in a practical way. It's often associated with the nurse. 20 degrees is 2, that's a relationship, so you really have a relationship to your practical life and how you can nurse it to make it better and to make it suit your needs. Pluto at 26 degrees in Capricorn, Pluto is the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's life and death, it's really big. 2 and 6 is 8, that's strength and power in numerology. And Capricorn is the worker sign. If you want it, you have to work for it. And if you do work for it and try really hard, you can get it. Nothing is outside your reach. Capricorn is really great because it's really black and white. It says if I work hard enough, I can do it. It's really encouraging. So with that being at 26 degrees, you have a powerful conviction that if you do make an effort, you will get what you want. And that's really true on this day, not just because you're able to work and achieve things, but because the universe is kind of on your side when it comes to the element of earth. And if you want to tweak certain practical things, the universe is saying, on these few days, the 10th, 11th of May, 10th, 11th, 12th of May, we'll make that happen for you. So you've got all the earth angels, all the fairies, all the elementals kind of supporting you in making things more beautiful and in changing practical circumstances that may usually feel very heavy And you know, like if you think of lifting something on your own, building your own future, the own structures in your life, and it feels like, oh, little me is supposed to do all this heavy lifting, the universe kind of supports you in putting those foundation stones in place, and they're helping you build your own little spiritual palace. First in your mind, and then on paper, in the real world. It's really quite a magical new moon, this. I love it. So that grand trine altogether, you have the opportunity to support yourself and to take care of your life in a really profound way. With Pluto, it can be profoundly life-changing and life-altering. And you're totally in control and in charge. So if you have an idea of what something should look like, that's very likely to appear in exactly that way, the way you imagined it. You know, sometimes you have an idea of a picture you want to paint and you're like, oh, this is going to look great. And then you actually put oil on canvas and it looks nothing like you imagined it to be. That's not going to happen today. If you see it in your mind's eye, you can translate it into something practical. You can manifest things instantly. Okay, then we've got a few other, do we have other aspect patterns? I'm just looking. So we've got Venus is connected to some other things, but the new moon really isn't. Let's see. We've got Uranus squares Saturn, okay. So the rules don't really hold you back. You're like, if I feel this is going to serve me, then the rules are guidelines more than things that are set in stone. So make sure that, obviously, you know, you don't break the law, but make sure that in one extreme that you don't completely ignore the rules and just say, I want it, therefore I'm entitled and I'm going to do it. But on the other hand, enjoy that freedom, because if you're someone who's easily held back by rules and regulations, they won't touch you on this day. And you're not going to be so susceptible to other people saying, no, you cannot do that. You're going to be like, well, thanks for sharing, I'm going to do it anyway. And for some people, that's really difficult. So if you struggle with that and you find that rebelling and not doing what the status quo wants you to do is really triggering and makes you nervous, then really enjoy that energy and go for it, because you have freedom from it today. Yeah, so just let me have a look. So I'm just going to tilt my head here to see if I'm missing anything. No, it's mainly that grand trine in Earth, but the new moon doesn't really connect in itself with any of the other planets, so it's kind of free of the other planets' influence, in the sense that this is the talent, this is the new beginning. If I love it internally, if I want to manifest it, then I can. And Mars isn't going to bother me, and Neptune isn't going to put a line through my plans. I'm independent, I'm free, and I can rise above all these other things that would usually hold me back. It's really wonderful. The one thing I do see in the chart, which isn't connected to the new moon in Taurus, but still is in there, we've got two yods. A yod is known as the finger of God. It's an area of real talent. It connects the south node with Saturn in Aquarius and Mars in Cancer. So the one thing is that you're able to transcend your own fears and the rules. They don't have anything on you, whereas at other times they may totally hold you back. They're not going to hold you back. That's one of the big gifts of the day. And then the other yod connects Uranus in Taurus, Mars in Cancer, and the south node in Sag. So chaos and things that are outside of your control that make you feel uneasy aren't going to stop you. You're like a runaway train. If you've got the idea and you like it, you're just going to keep going. You're unstoppable. I love it. That's amazing. And that is it. I'm just looking at whether the grand trine is a kite, but it isn't. A kite is when two sextiles sit on top of one of the trines in a grand trine, and it kind of takes on a life of its own. But this is an area of talent that allows you to manifest over this 3-day period. And all you have to ask yourself is this something I love? And does it make me a little bit nervous and anxious? And if the answer is yes, then I should really go with it, because it's going to be really fulfilling and exciting, and it's something I should go for. So it's really an empowering time. I really like it. The strongest element on the day, obviously, is Earth. So you have a lot of control over your circumstances, so make sure you use that. And things that have been set in stone for a long time are much more pliable and like Play-Doh. You can work with them and you can really get things to work in your favor. So it looks like a great new moon. I hope you have a wonderful couple of days, and I hope you use this to your advantage. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on Book Your Reading to order your reading with me. I use astrology, numerology, the tarot, and my intuition in my personal readings. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share the video online. And if you have any questions about your identity, what's coming up in future, your life purpose, your vocational aptitudes, finance, love, relationships, anything at all, please do get in touch with me. Hope you have a great time, and I'll speak to you soon.